Kanye West, my beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy.
But gripes, 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 because there are gripes that I have. And sort of the first one, maybe an appetizer, are the hooks. A lot of the hooks on this thing, either, to me anyway, just an opinion, kind of come off a little corny or a little generic. I'm thinking of tracks like Hell of a Life, So Appalled, All of the Lights, maybe something that I could just kind of come across on any new rap song in the mainstream on the radio.
One of my favorites on the album here contrasts in the track list with one of my least favorites, and that is All of the Lights. More than ever, I think the track sounds like a tone-deaf comedy of errors. To my ears, it's a horrid mess, and a little bit misguided too. We then get the Star-Studded Monster, a track that is known for its long run of features, but Nicki, I think, vastly overshoots it with all the inflection switch-ups and the baby voice and the oh God, it's too much. On this project, Travis Scott's middle name is Trendy, and he spends so much time chasing these trends, he does very little to give himself an actual edge or significant difference from any of his contemporaries. And I can't see Travis Scott's solo albums climbing to the top of the charts, because nearly every track on this project sounds like a track from another project. He doesn't really have a flair or a story or a unique angle to any of this. The song Drugs, You Should Try It sort of sounds like I'm listening to a bunch of depressed robots moan with auto-tune effects on their vocals. Out Into the Night. The most memorable moments on this project are not really good moments. It's just dumb. It's just auto-tuned, trap-flavored, expensive sounding, dumb. You can really go dumb with this thing. It's like as dumb as a jar of mayonnaise. I'm feeling a strong 3 to a light 4. I'm feeling a light to decent 7 on this thing.
When you're not getting a play-by-play of really trivial drama like on the track Wicked Games over here, you're getting all these attempts at being poetic by putting together key phrases like "look into my eyes" and references to hearts and scars and pain. People like the character on this album exist in real life, and they deserve to have their side of things told too. I'm not going to deny that. Even if it is written with the tact and eloquence of a series of drunk texts at 3 a.m. I can't really see myself returning to much on this album. I'm feeling like a strong 3 to a light 4 on this.
A light to decent 7.
Is that harsh? Well, I just really have a negative feeling about it. I don't enjoy it.
But after a somewhat consistent and listenable first half, the record just kind of all of a sudden just buries its face into a frilly pastel pillow so that it can start moaning these really weak, melodic, just go-nowhere songs. Like the song St. Tropes, where Cole is trying to croon throughout the whole track, and it does not go well. The song thematically might be trying to bring Cole from like one personality to another, sort of talking about Hollywood and this Hollywood life and this Hollywood mentality, but it's just not that enjoyable of a track. On the song Apparently, where Cole does more singing, which again is a turn-off, even on his most no BS album so far, there are a lot of lackluster songs and just kind of, again, cringe-worthy lines, especially on the back end of this LP, as Cole starts singing more and more and more. There are some things about this LP that are most definitely worth celebrating, but I feel like the more commercial projects I hear from J. Cole, the question of what makes him special becomes harder to answer. I'm feeling a strong 5 to a light 6 on this thing.
But I'm not so interested in hearing about Kanye West's f***ed-up social life so much that I'll just be sitting on the edge of my seat through 8 minutes of The Blame Game or 9 minutes of Runaway. I get kind of bored. What do you want me to do?
We then get Runaway, which many people consider to be Kanye's best song, the centerpiece of this album. But there is so much about this track that I still do not care for. Generally, the lyrics and the singing on this track, come on. The verses on this thing are not cute. They're not endearing. They're not relatable. I would say they're kind of cringe. It's embarrassing that he did it. It's embarrassing that he wrote it. It's embarrassing the way he sang it. I'm embarrassed that I'm talking about it. Also, the thin, horrid, distorted vocal solo that is manipulated, auto-tuned, vocoded, I'm not sure, at the very end of this thing, really wears out its welcome very fast. It does not need to be that long. It is not interesting for even half the time that it goes. If it was a guitar that was generating this sound, I would just say it sounds awful, but because it's a voice, I'm supposed to, wow, wow, freak out. So nearly 10 years after my review and the release of this album, and I still think that it finishes super weak. The concept at best is spotty. Overall, in my opinion, to put this album in a word, overrated.
I'm feeling a light to decent 6 on this thing.
I am feeling a strong 5 to a light 6 on this thing.